Rahmatullahi Barakatuh. The next guest on my show, back in 2016, him and a group of other folks decided, you know what? Wow, somebody actually won a major election on a platform of Islamophobia. How is that possible? And then they decided that they were going to try to solve that problem, that never again should there ever be a situation where a political candidate could run or win on a platform of Islamophobia. And this group, this next guest, gives the keys to success in building that American Muslim power that's needed through relationship building, and definitely not through controlling people. I'm not going to give it all away. I'm going to let you tune in now and find out from our next guest right here, right now, Samir Kakli, co-founder, South Florida Muslim Federation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brother Samir Kakli, thanks for being on the show today.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's my pleasure and honor, Brother Tayyib.
I'm so honor and pleasure is all mine to be with other heroes and sheroes on the show. You know, I want to talk about the Florida Muslim Federation, but before we get there, you know, Samir, I've known you now, mashallah, 7-8 years, and you know, busy professional, a dad, yet you're everywhere in the community. Tell us about that moment early on when you sort of thought to yourself, hey, I need to go out and do good. I want to be a part of doing good. Like, what was going on in that moment in your life, and what kind of drove you to do that?
Yeah, so it's all by the grace and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I had the honor of being involved with um, many Muslim organizations, many community, a lot of areas of community work, starting with starting from the lower levels, as I think it's a natural journey that I recommend everyone should go through. Starting as a volunteer, working at masjids and helping out with events and things, and eventually I was honored to serve on the board of a couple of masajid here in South Florida, and that gave me really a good experience and background on the inner workings of community work, where things are at, what are the challenges, what's going good, what's good, bad, and ugly, and all that. And so it was sort of organic, I would say, in that sense. I then, after serving on the board of a couple of masjids, I was honored to be part of a youth coalition in our area because I noticed that's a gap, and that's kind of like, I guess, my nature. I try to fill in those gaps and work
Mm,
where there's a need, and I did see that need, and this is
yeah.
years back, maybe 15 years ago. There wasn't much going on as far as the youth. So served there, and all that that was a great experience, and all that kind of led up to that moment. I think you're talking about where we founded the Muslim Federation with many other folks.
No, thank you for sharing that. I feel like, your story being shared is so important because so many other folks, professionals and dads like yourself, they're being called to be on a board. And I get asked all the time, Brother Tayeb, they want me on the board. I've never been a board member before. And I usually tell them, I'm like, look, you know, it's being on a board, volunteering, working in this space, it's not about being in one place and being there forever, but rather growing and learning, because it sounds like even from your journey, mashallah, being in youth work, being on different boards has now helped you, where you are today with the federation. So now co-founding the federation, what was that moment like? You were saying, I like I see myself helping where there's a gap
Mhm.
and a need, rather
Yeah.
than being where there's already so many other folks. So what was the need that you were seeing at the time in South Florida?
Yeah, so what happened is, after the 2016 elections, which was a big
Mm,
moment for, Muslim Americans, where,
yeah.
not to get into any politics, but, it was shocking for a lot of Muslims that a candidate, ran on a platform of, some would say Islamophobic, and it didn't hurt them; it helped them. Actually, they won. So a lot of
Mm.
distress and shock, after that, some members of our community were very, very distraught and crushed, from that moment. But then, after drying the tears, our one of our founders, the key founders, Afifa, Sister Afifa Khalid, she wiped away the tears and said, let's do something about this. And that started the first step into getting together, getting the organizations together in our community, which is like a vast community. We're large geographically, as well as as far as diversity and numbers. But we didn't do that much together in cooperation and coordination. So she started that discussion with initially some small number of organizations, like who do social work or civil rights, like CARE and others. It started there, but eventually, then I got involved, and we decided collectively to take this further, and let's take this to include the masajid, because that's the backbone of our community. And we eventually took
No,
it to that point, and says, we got a lot of naysayers, I would say, a lot of uh, 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 you know uh, skepticism we were met with, in terms of, like, you can't do this. Our response was, we can't not do this. We have to do this, because this is the way we will regain Allah's blessing and thrive as a community.
yeah, and as thank you for sharing that. What I really love the example that do that someone ran for office on an Islamophobic platform, and it was 2016, almost 15 years after 9/11. And it was as if, Muslim community was cruising. Do you feel like we were cruising at the moment? We thought, hey, Islamophobia is over, but wait a minute, it's back. Um, and then, and then you guys start South Florida Muslim Federation. Um, what was the big aim and goal of that at the time? What was the need that you were seeing, that it had the purpose it had to fulfill?
I think the purpose it had to fulfill was, we were being stepped on, as a community. As you said, we probably got complacent, because we thought, oh, this is kind of past us. We're established now. We're much stronger. We realized that wasn't the case. We this
Mhm.
politicians or anyone could just go and say these things, and then it doesn't disqualify them. Sometimes it actually helps them, right? Like, ban Muslims or things, whatever, right? And it's still going on, obviously. But we wanted to become strong as a community, to push back against this negativity, against this vitriol that's launched against us, and launched against any other community, as we are supposed to, as Muslims, to fight for justice, even if against ourselves, or any oppressed minority. So we wanted to come together, speak with one voice, and that way we can gain respect and dignity as a community. So that was our initial
Yeah,
goal.
and thank you. Yeah, and sort of, and thank you for clarifying, and I think it's very helpful for the audience, especially for the show today. Is it's always important when you're starting a nonprofit or starting a social good organization, that you're clear about the problem that you want to solve,
Yeah,
and you understand how solving that problem makes the world a better place. And Brother Samir, like, to me, I hear you loud and clear on the problem. I hear you loud and clear on how we were thinking we were going to solve it. Tell me now, kind of dig into the nonprofit. You register the organization,
yeah.
and now you get to work. What's that look like? What's happening? What were some of the business
Uh,
challenges and opportunities you were facing at the time?
oh, yeah, yeah. So that's the hard part, right? So rolling up the sleeves and getting to work. And I'll tell you, bringing people together, bringing organizations together, not easy. It's a daunting task, but alhamdulillah, I think I think the myself and the other co-founders, the experience we had at being on the ground, being present, in the boards, having worked in the boards and having a, good experience, with that and being a known entity, I think it would not have happened otherwise. We were able to do this by the grace of Allah because we were from the community. We have been there. People knew who we were, right? So we had that trust, because, without that, it's a impossible task, right? Somebody coming new and fresh and coming and saying, "Hey, we all gotta get together." I mean, good luck with that. So yeah, we had to go and, even before we registered the organization, we held some meetings, we held some town halls to kind of just socialize this and broach this idea with the all the leaders, and that happened in early, 2017. And so we had this big town hall, and we talked about things, and we were surprised at the response. There was an appetite for this. We didn't wanna go and, get into this unless there is that buy-in, and we found that, we basically asked the leaders in that town hall, "Hey, should we try to do this?" It's been tried before, right? But, so we kinda just socialized, "Hey, we feel that this would be of benefit. We have an umbrella organization. What do you all think?" And the response was positive. So the that's where it was kind of born a more in a more official sense. And later on that year, what we did is have it's kind of a half-day retreat where we collectively decided what is the mission, officially and collectively.
Yeah.
What is the exact goal of
Yeah.
this? As you said, I had, initial thoughts and some others, who are we? We're nothing. We have to get everybody together and kinda get this together, decide this together so that there is that sense of ownership, the broad sense of ownership among, 30, 40 organizations, not just the 5 people, right? And so we did that. Later in October, 2017, we rented out this big room in a hotel. We invited everyone over and all the leaders. We said, let's do this. And then we all walked in. There were 30 leaders walked into this room without a mission. We walked out with a mission, and we had a whole exercise, you know,
Amazing.
plan to, execute that. So that's the most important thing is, I think and we also learned from you, all the great trainings you've done. You have to, know what your goal is, what your mission is, what your purpose is. Before that, there's no work. Can't do any work before you realize what that is. So after that, then the work became clear, and we decided we're going to be a resource hub that, uh, connects, empowers, and serves South Florida Muslim organizations. That became our mission statement, collectively decided.
A resource hub that connects, empowers, and serves the Muslims of South Florida. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. I love it so much, mashallah. Now today though, how many members do you have? It was 30 people, 30 leaders then. Today, where are we at?
We have about 33 today. So we gained several, and then there was some attrition there. Some organizations, like some youth organizations, they actually became inactive, and then there's some new ones coming. So yeah, so we held the line largely. We increased a little bit. We're not. We're probably going to be focusing on growth soon. Like, I've discussed with you, maybe statewide, but we want to make sure we're really rock solid, with all the members we have, and make sure this becomes, a not a, moment, but a movement, not just in our minds, but in
Yes.
the minds of all our members. Yeah.
Yeah, mashallah. And then one of the things that I know programmatically that you guys do is you meet every quarter. You have trainings in the quarter. You talk business in that quarter, and you have this South Florida convention. And I
Yeah.
attended last year
Yeah.
the South Florida convention that you had. Um, what does the roadmap ahead look like as you think
Yeah.
about this organization?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the roadmap's very exciting, on several levels. From the overall community level, as you said, we have our conference, our yearly conference. It's coming up in January. We invite everyone to attend January 30th, 31st. We're getting the whole community together for, multiple days, 2 days, which has never happened before, but now it's become like an established thing, and that's for the masses mostly. The other thing is really exciting. going back to our mission, right? We have to make sure we're serving our organization, right? And empowering them. So we have more trainings coming up. We're working on actually something with you, which we're really excited about, is a service, because we've done many trainings. Many of them have been with you, Brother Tayyib, Allah bless you, and they've been fantastic. But we found that all how as much as the trainings are loved and praised, sometimes you know the folks just go back to their masajid, and it's nothing, not that much changes in a material sense. So we found out we have to
Yeah.
kind of and actually start doing some of these things for them, and that's what we would like to do with the strategic planning service, and maybe cover that cost for them. We also have, what's really exciting is this year we had for the first time our first retreat, member retreat. So we had an off
Mm,
we rented a hotel, a really nice hotel on the water here in Fort Lauderdale, and got all our leaders come, spend the night, Friday night, have dinner, sit, and eat, and listening to some updates from the Federation. But then we woke up in Fajr, in Saturday morning, prayed Fajr on the beach, had a really kind of a spiritual connection among all the leaders, had a little talk by some of our imams, stayed a few minutes on the beach, sitting in the nature and the beautiful creation of Allah. And then when we had a full day planning of and organizing by another facilitator who organized our members into 5 working groups. And so we're getting more member involvement, which I really I'm excited about, and I think it's kind of going back to our core, a core mission, because you often, as sometimes you kind of drift because some projects are so exciting, you end up kind of drifting away from a mission. So this retreat, I feel, is kind of make sure we're navigating, and we have our North Star back to our mission, which is getting our members involved, and that's been really beneficial, and we got really good feedback, and has this resulted in developing stronger bonds between our members, which is very important, because even though we meet regularly, we meet biannually. This is just like a 2 or 3 hour meeting. You hear some updates, ask some questions, and then you're gone. There's sometimes there's still not as much familiarity with each other, and that's very important to become, united. So this retreat kind of really accelerated that process of the bonds, building that, camaraderie between our members, and also working together on really practical projects and exciting projects like, a political working group, a youth engagement group, and we already have some, was one of them is also financial sustainability. And we also already have some good wins. We've
mm.
started a waqf, an endowment fund, alhamdulillah, out of the Financial Sustainability Committee. We've already started ours. There's some members who already are going to start theirs, and we have a shared resource. We're about to hire a youth coordinator between 2 different masjids are sharing that resource. A lot of great,
Amazing.
yeah,
I mean, that's super cool stuff. And tell me, I attended your conference this year, and I noticed South was removed, and now it's the Florida Muslim Conference. Tell me more
yeah,
about that. Tell me more about
yeah,
moving from South Florida to Florida. I mean, I'm super excited about that.
absolutely.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, yeah. So for the conference, it's a done deal. We calling this Florida Muslim Conference. Everybody's welcome, from Orlando, from Tampa, from Jacksonville. We did have many attendees, thanks to the great work that your team did. They have hundreds of attendees from not just the local area, but Tampa, Orlando, other places, and even out of state. We had people from New York. We had people from Dallas. So we're glad to have that, and we'd like to grow this and not just become like a small regional thing, but like something that's definitely on a national level, that's for anyone around the country, but kind of highlights and showcases our community, our beautiful Muslim community around Florida. We have a great community. It's grown so much over the years, and I think this is part of that, of evolving and in maturing of our own communities. And we would like to also follow this up with the federation itself. Definitely, we're still doing some exploratory actions and activities to look into a statewide federation, and we
Yeah.
definitely still on our radar. Is so many other things we haven't been able to make as much progress towards that this year, but definitely it's on our radar for next year, to work with you and other leaders around the state to make this statewide. And honestly, the sky's the limit. We could do so much more statewide and become like a powerhouse.
Tell me, Samir, and mashallah, South Florida Muslim Federation, there's other organizations, and different models of these sort of regional, umbrella organizations. You've got CIOGC in Chicago, you've got, California, Southern Shooter Council of California, you got
Yeah,
Northern California.
yeah,
I know I'm talking to a group right now in Memphis called the Togetherness Council. What advice do you have for folks that are starting up in their area or region and state, or folks that are in early stages or in the middle of it, who
yeah.
are trying to convene for community? Tell me, what advice would you give them if they're on that same journey?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we actually have gotten asked this by several other, regions like, Boston and, upstate New York, Capital District, so we've done some consulting with them, so first thing I would say, it's all about relationships. Relationships,
Yeah,
relationships, relationships, number 1. If you don't
mashallah.
have the relationships, it's gonna be very, very difficult. You have to have those.
Yeah,
Obviously, not one person will never have all of them, right? So, make sure your core team of establishing and standing this thing up, this umbrella, they have, strategic ties and allies among the different segments around. And this can't be just, one segment of our community. It's gotta be, all Muslims, anyone who's Muslim, right? So whatever their background is, whatever their school of thought is, whatever their ethnicity is, you have to make sure that's not the focus, is that that, ethnic identity or whatever, or that school of thought has to be open and unite all the Muslims. Otherwise, don't call yourself a Muslim federation, or council. Call yourself a whatever council from this country or culture, right? If you're calling yourself Muslim, you have to be true to that and make sure you're including everybody. So be inclusive, be
yeah,
transparent, and don't try to control. It's not about control. If it becomes about controlling, it's not gonna work. It will fall apart. You have to
yeah,
be as open as you can and as welcoming of feedback as possible. We try to totally turn this around. We know there's organizations who are kinda closed and they try to control everything and, maybe the founder syndrome and you know, whatever, same, leaders for 30 years or whatever. We try to completely turn that around. It's like, we want this is your organization. We told the members, this is your organization. You tell us how we're doing, and you elect us, right? We have elections
yeah,
every year, and if we're not doing a good job, we need you to tell us, and we need you to correct us.
yeah.
And so we always try to, repeat that make sure that's known among the members. And it's a journey because they're not many of them are not used to this because it's not the way many
Yeah, for sure.
organizations yeah, so it's a journey that a lot of them some of them still don't understand, right? Some of them still come up to me,
Yeah,
"Oh, you're doing a great job. This is your organization is good." I'd say, "Look, stop. Don't say my organization. It's not. It belongs to the members. It's a collective team. That's why we were able to, do this. Otherwise, it would never have happened." Yeah.
Samir, Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you so much for making
Yeah.
the world a better place. Thank you for being on the show today. And thank you for sharing the advice to all the others out there who might be looking to convene and build power to help serve the community and the oppressed. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to being a part of the journey. I'm diehard
Yes.
Floridian, as you know,
Yes.
standing by anytime you need me, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Brother Samir.
Well, yeah, and we definitely need you, and this would not have happened without you. All the trainings you gave
That's
to
okay.
all us and all our members, the strategic planning you did for us. May Allah bless you immensely because that's the reason
Um,
we are at the place where we are today. And we definitely will need your involvement
Jazakallah
going
khair.
forward in
All
the conference and beyond, inshallah.
anytime. It's all from Allah subhanahu wa
Jazakallah
ta'ala.
khair.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Alaikum
barakatuh.
salam wa rahmatullah.